You might not know it, but Galaxy's a shithole. Oh, it is. Never mind. I was making a joke. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with episode 5 of Macross Frontier. How about you go and give us a really short version of what happened last time?
Really short version, episode 4, Miss Macross, or should be Miss Macross Frontier. The 12th of Macross Frontier, to be fact. Alto, who has stepped into the MSS, is put through paces by his comrades. Essentially, he goes into training, including a live fight, simulated training against what we will meet as Pixie Group. Meanwhile, Ranka has passed the initial rounds for Miss Macross Frontier context editions and sings the song for the very final screening stage, which turns out to be My Boyfriend is a Pilot. Classic. But two things happen that are not included in that. One, the Varja attack. And Alto, because the battle occurs in what's called a Centrati graveyard, a battle graveyard, Alto decides to take on the Varja directly and uses an old gun to destroy the attacking Varja. And sadly, Ranka does not make it, doesn't win the tournament, unlike Ming and Mei, who did, of course. So that was a bit of a twisting of expectations there. And finally, we meet Captain Clan, who is the leader of Pixie team. Which she comes in two forms, a rather voluptuous one in full Centrati form, and a tiny 5-year-old like girl, Genki girl, in her micronized form. And apparently she, she's worked with, at least she's worked with Michael before, and Luca, because they know about them. So that's basically the episode, if you think about it. Oh, and yeah, and Alto gets hazed. And he sees his father, and his father tells him that he doesn't tell him. He says, I don't know this guy. So, yeah, there's that.
All right.
And I
got an opinion question for you.
Uh-huh.
You've watched Outlaw Star, right?
Yes.
Who's your favorite clan?
That is pretty close. Because Cat Girls...
Aisha clan or Captain Clan?
I'm going to go with Captain Clan. But not by my... I think that both of them... because if you think about it, Captain Clan embodies both clans. Like a micronized version of her is very much clan, the bratty, kitten personality that clan has. But also full-size clan has a more, sensual aspects of clan when she really wants to lay it on, which is not as often as she wants to, but it happens often enough to notice.
I mean, obviously, I just met Captain Clan, so opinion doesn't really matter yet. So I'm leaning more towards Aisha. So just occurred to me, wait a second, I know this name. I've thought of this name before. What is this?
But Aisha, I think Aisha's the name. Clan is her race. They're the clan.
Ironically, I think Clan might be her clan.
Yeah.
Because, they're animal people with, groupings, like family groupings.
Yeah.
So it might be her family name, but it also might be her clan. So Alicia Clan might be from the clan, which is dipping into that problematic territory again.
Well, they skip over with 4 instead of 3, so yeah.
Yeah, Alicia Clan of Clan. Also, they spell it with a C, so
yeah,
even in that case, we're still good. All right, yeah, like I said, other than the deeper thoughts of what Captain Clan might be going through, but the fact that we're never probably going to address it, even though I really wish we would, because the whole My Clone thing is such a thing. I wish in Macross 7 that Dr. Chiba had been, more about stuff that already had been around in the world, instead of making up his own science. Because I would love if we had the opportunity to cover this stuff.
But how else would you make Basara relevant?
Basara was already relevant. Remember, we already start with him being oh, he's got this military thing, and we're already backing him up. Like, we just
Relevant
never
in the
talked
sense,
about it.
relevant in the sense of, I guess relevant is not the word. Useful is the word I was looking for. Because he was useless. And then she was like, wait a minute.
I mean, technically
Looking at-
not, because the Proto-Devlin already considered him useful. His Anima Spiritua thing.
Yeah, but we didn't know that. He's not useful for the.
You
for
said
the
we
good
didn't know
guys.
that. We literally knew that long before he ever became useful. They're tracking him down before his music ever does anything. And I guess technically he didn't need Dr. Chiba's stuff for Civil to be affected by him. He wasn't wearing like the outfit and everything before Civil kissed him, which sent her into a coma. Assumedly meaning that if Basara just kisses all of the Proto-Devlin, we wouldn't have had to get in any fights. One kissing contest would have ended the whole series. Which would have worked great on everyone but 4 of them?
Yeah.
4 of them are
But again-
giants, so...
I mean, you bypass Kiss the leader, and then, he orders everyone else to stand down. So,
No, they were in a coma, remember? So it wouldn't be able to order
Yeah.
anyone. You just have these guys running rampant. How are you going to kiss Grablin? The
I
giant
wouldn't.
kaiju one that has a mouth... I don't know. Don't know.
Yeah,
That'd be like Fay Ray kissing King Kong. It'd be a problem.
yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Oh, they're changing up.
How's it 5th generation if you imply that they all launched within 2 years?
工業艦などからなる第5世代型巨大移民船だ。バイオプラントを採用し、大気や水、すべての物質がこの船内で循環し、有機物のその一辺までもが無駄なく利用され、最小限の補給で
You're drinking your own
長距離
piss.
の航行を成し得る閉鎖系として設計されている。それはいわば小さな地球であった。
どういうことだこれは。
Ace implying that they don't need to actually ever settle anywhere.
おかげで定額だ。お前はあのお嬢様学校に入れるのに、俺がどんだけ苦労したと思ってるんだ。
頼んだわけじゃないもん。私は歌手になりたいの。
寝言も大概にしろ。お前みたいな引っ込み思案が歌手なんかできっこない。
お兄ちゃんのバカ。
Was that a Minmay doll?
I think so.
Also implying that they'd never had that conversation. Like, how can we go from her passing out at the implication that he's actually been a pilot this whole time and lying to her, to them living in the same apartment and be like, or a townhouse, it looks like, living in the same townhouse and not talking about it? How do you spend all that time in a hospital and then go home and like, this is fine?
We bury our feelings deep.
Clearly not. Clearly we throw everything in the kitchen at it. Also, the fact we have Michael in the lineup with the other side characters. I will admit, I did not notice Michael's ears, even though they've been in the opening apparently every time. Implying that he's with one of 2 races. The fact he doesn't have a giant snake around his throat implies he's not that other race, though. And again, we got dark-eyed girl. I kept joking all through SDF Macross that dude was an alien. So, turns out he might have been an alien. In which case, that was actually first contact with humanity, right there. Whatever that doctor guy was. I'd love if the alien greys were actually real. Just the background of Macross, we've been in contact with humans all this time.
Star date.
ほいほい出てきて有名人なんだろ一応。
あら、私と一緒じゃ嫌？
ああ、迷惑だ。
でも来週にはギャラクシーに戻らなきゃい
Oh,
け
look,
な
the
いから
guy who's seen the
チャ
show
ンスは今日
before
だけ
knew where he was living.
絶対に見つけたいの。大事なものなのよ。あのイヤリング。
I mean, it could be just his locker in
Something she
school.
only remembered when she was watching a QVC show selling earrings and a necklace.
キモいよ。それにミシェル君の彼女ってゴージャス系のお姉様ばっかりじゃん。無理だって。こっちアルト君もおっか。何よサトミ、姫狙いだったわけ？実はね。それこそ無理じゃん。最近一年の子が告白したけど取り付く島もなかったって話だし。
Also, that thing around his neck is something that we see in the opening. She literally shoves it down her cleavage.
Yeah.
アルト君、もう授業始まっちゃってるかな。アルト君？
どこにいる？お前どこにいる？映画中だってのに。
はあ。
It's the weirdest alternative to communications devices.
変なとこに携帯入れておかないでよね、スケベ。
俺のせいかよ。
Her reaction early was
Yeah.
to his cell
Yes,
phone.
I understand what vibrators are meant to imply.
お前に嘘ついて何の
I am a man of the internet lessons. You don't have to describe these things to me.
自意識過剰だ。
アルト先輩？
ランカ。
オズマリー少佐、フロンティア政府臨時安全保障委員会よりお迎えに上
I
が
do
りま
believe I
した。
gave these two a white line on the board. Because I'm not sure. She had like an antagonistic relationship with him, but then she was like concerned when she thought he might have been hurt.
後ほどお届けします。
Oh, there we go. He's a guy who looks a lot like the doctor from Macross Zero.
絶対にランカを探しさせよう。
ランカさん、どうかしたの？
ちょっとな。
相変わらずね。私のこともそのくらい気にかけてくれていたら。
終わったことだろう。
そうよね。昔の話よね。
I can't tell how old Grace is to know how that relationship would have been. Is this romantic? Child? What?
やめろって。
Ozma clearly looks older than everybody
俺
else.
が調べる。
わかった。じゃあこれは型に預かっておくわね。
お、返せ。
じゃあ取れば？
卑怯だぞ。
What if Alto was a pervert? This would not have played out well for you.
返してあげてもいいけど。
Well, he isn't. He's a gentleman.
条件があるわ。
There's a bit of gambling in him.
やっぱりミシェル先輩のところにも。
Gambling was like awkward.
ランカさん、
Gambling probably would have passed
A
out
little.
in this scenario.
進めたりしなければ。みんなで探しましょう。
はい探しましょう。
悪いけど、俺パス。
心配じゃないんですか？
優しいね、七瀬は。ちょっと用事が。
I can't tell if Luca and Nanase are supposed to be a thing.
使えばいいよ。
アルト先輩よ。
They do make him like little boy, emphasis on everything be a little boy, including like give him like the shorts and everything. Right? Everybody has like full pants and he's like shorts.
何やってんだあいつは。わかった、見つけたら。なんだよ。
No, I mean, I already said that like in my episode 2 breakdown. But I was confused why they call Alto Princess because Luca is the one that's most feminine of everybody.
違うんだ。
ああ、断じて違う。
でも彼女はいるんでしょ？
Oh, I said this before, or I thought this before. I didn't say it out loud. I appreciate how they've developed the sky on these things because we know those lines are actually like subway trails. So I appreciate that they've laid them out in an actual network that looks like it. Or has been strangled to death. Based on the weird phone technology your caller is using.
あそこの兄弟喧嘩にはランカちゃん
ミシェル君。
I also like the music in this series.
キョロキョロして。
Which is surprising, because I find your taste to be questionable.
Well, you find it questionable.
What I just said. I said I find your taste to be questionable.
グレース。
How many
Emphasis
times
on
have
you.
I? Yes, I said I find your taste.
インプラントよ。
I've all constantly gone over with you that I'm not objectifying anyone's taste in music,
ギャラクシーじゃ普通よ。
except for when I say it's bad. Your taste is bad. Anyone who thinks Macross Plus had good music, your taste is bad.
そういやそっちじゃ整形とかサイボーグも
You hear it last, folks.
お前も
私は違うわ。
Hear it laugh. As though it's gonna be the last time I say that.
それも売りの一つだもの。
Ho ho ho. Again.
She literally said you can jerk off to me tonight, last episode. I don't think
Yeah.
anything she says is gonna be,
あれって。
That's why I'd prefer if she was at least a little bit older than everybody else.
絶対帰らない。
でも
Again,
お兄さん
target
す
audience.
ごく心配してどこ行くの
Look,
We're not the target audience.
look, this thing is like targeting audiences, let's make one girl very voluptuous and then turn her into a kid. Because what would we want our target audience to feel in this situation, right? Or what is the target audience?
Teenagers.
Hmm.
Remember this?
Yeah, where I said it doesn't make sense. And you're like, it will.
森があって街は綺麗でスラムもないし結構いい。
You saw it on the ride in.
普通の狭苦しいドーム型都市線だぜ別に珍しくもない
でもここに来て驚いたの。こんなにいろんな匂いに満ちてるんだって。ギャラクシー
You might not know it, but Galaxy's a shithole. Oh, it is. Never mind. I was making a joke.
他のバイオプラント船に行った時はオフなんてみじんも取れなかったし。
いいのかよそんなせっかくの休日こんな風に使っちまって
Randomly. Of everybody, everywhere.
気に入ってるところが一つだけあるわ。私をシェリル扱いしないところ。さあ行きましょう。
And then she gets shot.
I mean, I was thinking that about the place we were just at. The perfect sniper spot.
あると。
ぜひ連れて行きたいところがある
Have you ever been to heaven? I'll take you there. I do much prefer the Macross 7
19年前
cuts.
初めて存在が確認された異星生命体いえあの第117調査船団の生き残りである皆さんには説明は不要ですねまずはこれをご覧ください
Real gunbuster feel to this. Also, Ozma and Grace were members of the 117th Expedition's crew.
ごめんなさいね
Zentradi Farmer.
大
Okay.
きいのね。セントラーディの人って。
That's what she said.
初めてなのか
That guy doesn't have
タク
hands.
シーには一人もいないし、他の船でもマイクロンしか会ったことないから。ねえアルト、あれは何？
あれは
Formal.
Formal, yeah.
ランカちゃんってなどこ行くの ったよ。僕の負け。とりあえず休戦しよう。
I wouldn't want to go to this place if I was normal sized. I wouldn't want to go here if I was a Zentradi. I'd be worried about stepping on people or being stepped on. Are you gonna pass over whatever the weird creature thing that was? This is somebody's fetish. Sorry, I was gonna say the whole gigantism thing is somebody's fetish, but what I really was actually meant was being like in a shoe.
Yeah. This is somebody's fetish.
What? 何をしてる貴様。
クラン隊。
邪魔しないで。今いいフレーズが浮かんできたの。
Well, I thought she was like gonna sign them or something.
No, she's a songwriter.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I just meant that I thought that's what she was doing before she said something came to my head.
アルト君に相談しに。
あ？よりによってあいつに。
だってアルト君はちゃんと私の話聞いてくれるもん。お兄ちゃんやミシェル君と違って。
厳しいな。でもさ、これ食べたら帰る。
I'll say this is all nice and all, but I really wish we were back at that conference with Leon telling us about what the Vajra are.
私を子供扱いするし、私に内緒で戦闘機乗ってたりするし。だから私も勝手にするの。
甘えるのもいい加減にしようね。
That whole comment I meant about the show finding itself in the middle of the spectrum between everything. Never mind, maybe we'll get back there.
こんなところに隠して解剖していたとはな。死骸と呼ぶのがふさわしいかは議論が必要でしょうね。外角はバルキリーと同種のエネルギー転換装甲。単体で
Same type of energy conversion armor as the Valkyrie.
Yeah, in Zero, they do show it.
さらに
You have to go back to Zero.
それを制御するには脳と呼ばれる
To show what?
あまりにも少ない。
I'm reading the text on the Valkyrie description. I'm reading the text on the Vajra description.
つまり
I'm not talking about the Valkyrie
自ら思
itself.
考する必要がないほど過当な生物か、もしくは何者かによって操られているものと推定されます。
生物兵器。
そう考えるのが妥当でしょう。
隊長がどんな思いで戦ってるか知ろうともしないでよく言うよね。それに隊長を説得できないからアルトを頼る？その程度の覚悟で歌手になろうなんてお笑いだよね。だいたいさ、ランカちゃん、人前で歌うことなんかできるわけ？
できるよ。
Literally did.
時だってちゃんとみんなの前で。
あの時はね。でも例えば今
Funny, the only people questioning her about this are the people who weren't there to watch it.
見るために来てないこの場所で。さっき入り口で歌ってた人がいたよね。ランカちゃんも完全スルーしてたけど、ああいう時でも歌い続ける覚悟って君にあるの？
I mean, she was singing on the observation deck without expecting people to hear her.
呆れるよな。どうしてあんなに。
Yeah, but she went there because she didn't want anybody to see her in here. That she told her that. It's like, no, I don't want, and I do it because there's nobody, there's no pressure.
バカかお前は。そんなもの。
そうせずにはいられなかったからに決まってるじゃない。
その通りだ。
そうか。飛ばずにはいられないか。
Or recording pointless anime reactions. Can't stand not doing it.
歌える？誰も君を見ようとしない。この場所で。
Can you imagine Minmay getting this advice? It
She
wouldn't-
kind of did actually at the end of the show.
at the end of the show. I'm talking about at the beginning. Because none of this would really apply to Minmay. You'd end up destroying humanity, convincing Minmay not to sing. Not purple mustache guy.
The English, the Japanese is very interesting.
Also implying that these things aren't corpses and the fact that you might have killed them.
Some
really
random
familiar.
musicians. So just
The drummer looked very familiar for some reason. I mean, maybe not from this show. Maybe he's like just a familiar art style.
もう出てきたんださっきも言ったでしょ出てくる子は勝手に出てくるものよ勝手にね
No, no, no. That's culture. To be fair, though, he didn't say the full phrase. At least he didn't say yuck. Is nobody else concerned that it's waking up? Like, conceivably, the entire room was just sitting there watching it, like, starting to glow and shit.
すごかった正直驚いたよ
アルト君のおかげなの
Also, you do realize that your song was 90% What About My Star?
シールさんありがとう楽しかったわ
意外だな礼を言われるなんて
うるさいわねめったにないんだからありがたがりなさいさてランカちゃんもなんとかなりそうだしこれで心置きなくギャラクシーに戻れるわ
そういや来週
I was just here to check on my little sister.
のチケット送るわね
しょうがないな
Nick's
イヤリン
probably.
グ必ず探して持ってってやるよ
待ってるわアルト
That's a difficult way to whistle. Open mouthed?
Macross ギャラクシー所属ヴィラン隊ギャラクシー船団がバチュラの大軍に襲われた至急救援を請う
Well, that puts a wrinkle in my theory.
What was your theory?
No, about them attacking the song. Why would the galaxy still being attacked if no one's there? Unless there are still Name there. I guess it's ridiculous to think that Cheryl is the last of the Names. Assumingly she has parents. Of course, they wouldn't have all been on the one transport ship that Rinka got away from. I think I'm slowly turning my theory into just truth for me until it's proven otherwise. For Renka. Renka's a Name until they prove otherwise. Renka Name. Just rolls off the tongue.
Like I said, I like the music in this quite a bit.
More than Macross Plus?
They're different.
Did you buy this album?
I haven't.
Okay, so you bought both.
Yeah.
So which do you play more?
Plus.
So you like Plus more?
Overall. But there's a song here that well, when we get to the song,
ギャラクシー船団が襲撃された。その知らせはアルトたちに戻りへの道を歩ませてゆく。次回バイバイシェリル。別れの歌銀河に響け。
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna lose Cheryl. That seems like it's probably gonna happen considering she's in the opening. All three of them are in the opening. Look, I'm just not getting the death flags stuff. Like, I called most people's death before it happened. There's no way Cheryl's dying in episode 6. Sorry, I had a thought previous to that, but then the whole Cheryl thing came up, and I'm like, subverted what I was thinking about. Now it can't come back to me.
So what do you think? What are your thoughts, I should say?
Well, that's my problem, is now the whole Cheryl thing came up, and it's like, they're not going to kill Cheryl. So obviously the idea is that she's going back to the galaxy, but once again, she's in the opening of the show, and they're really hard playing the love triangle aspect, so... Although they were indicating that she was leaving this episode anyway, so... What seems more likely to me is something's going to happen that prevents her from leaving.
Now, splitting the show into 2 fleets would be difficult to do. Not impossible, but difficult to do.
Stargate didn't pull it off. You know, Stargate Universe, where they try to have all the shows in one show?
Yeah.
Even though that's something I was pitching for years. So it really sucks that when they tried it, it failed.
Did they have all the shows in one show? They mentioned Atlantis too?
I don't remember. I didn't watch it. I just knew what it was about. Just the idea that you have a shared universe of people who are already interacting. Like, the best episodes of Atlantis were when they contacted Earth again, and you get to see all your characters interacting with one another. Or when, the ship from SG-1 had to go to Atlantis, and you get to see that crew. So, obviously, the interaction shit was the best part, so why not make a show where it's all just fucking interaction?
Yeah, but Stargate Universe, they were kind of the opposite. They were sent to 5 or 10 galaxies away. It's like, oh, you're in the ass end of the universe and can't come back. Right. So, that happened.
Yeah, but that was more of a Battlestar Galactica. And that was all, internal politics and weirdly stumbling across shit every so often.
Trying to find a way home, and they never did.
Well, they couldn't, because literally they were leaving their home. You're talking about, Lost in Space or Star Trek Voyager or any of those theme of shows. Actually, technically, you were quoting Quantum Leap, which is a real, or completely wrong direction, but still the same theme of those types of shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have much to talk about in this episode specifically, because beyond the Vajra reveal that Ozma and Grace, or Catherine, or whatever you want to call it, come from that fleet, I'm assuming that it's what he's implying, because he says everybody here, but they could have just been observers. So I don't know.
It's Kathy. Grace is Cheryl's assistant. Yes. And
Glass,
she also
that's where I'm getting confused. Glass.
Yeah, Glass
G
is the family
names with a GA,
Yeah. Grace In fact, they even discuss the fact that Grace has implants. It's like, in her brain? Yeah, in her brain.
Yeah, no, I literally started a whole conversation about that before. Same thing
Yeah,
about
it's like,
Alien
well,
Girl that I keep bringing up.
also how it might be illegal as well. It's like, oh, isn't it illegal in most places? Well, it's not in the galaxy. Which implies that there are different laws in different fleets, right? At least for some things.
I mean, probably every fleet's a different country.
I mean, you have a president in Frontier, so not a mayor anymore. It's not simply a city; it's a nation.
Well, Misa implies that she's a president too.
Misa?
Yeah, and by Misa I mean Milia. Too many M names in the show. And the show that starts with an M itself.
Yeah, but she's almost always saying.
In
one of
the final shorts, she says Milia for mayor. I mean Milia for president. So she's aiming to be president. Maybe it's because she's been calling herself mayor, and then she finds out everybody else calls themselves president. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? Milia for president.
It also seems that the president seems to be in control of the military, where in Macross 7, there was kind of less than an even split, because ultimately Max
they were
was
separate.
the leader of all of it.
Yeah, they were separate entities.
Yeah.
I don't know, though, because we never see Howard controlling the military. However, he does have to give authority, because it says the government. Here's the thing. There was a shot from episode 3 that I thought about screenshotting, but I couldn't really figure it out. That showed like the relationship of every part of the government. Like a call comes up to the SMS, and the subtitle thing on the very top that comes across, it says messages in red come from this and mean an emergency or something like that. But in the background of the message popping up, there's like hexagons that say like the government, and then one of them is like military, one of them is like exploration forces. And it's like these little branches of which section responds to which section.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it and I was like, well, some of it's too blurry to read. Some of it just I can't figure out what it means, but it really feels like understanding that would help us understand the government of the show and how it operates.
Also, when we see like the higher command, people in charge, we go to President Glass' office. We don't go to a general, an admiral, right? Like if we were in Macro 7 or even SCF1, we'll go to Global or we go to Max, right?
Catherine is the highest ranked military officer we've seen so far.
I think that Leon is also,
we don't know. Leon is operating propaganda. He shows up when we need to do propaganda shit. He tells Howard military. We don't know that.
Oh, uniform.
Doesn't mean anything. Uniform. Also, it's not quite the same uniform as Catherine's wearing.
But it is
also, that doesn't mean anything. The fact he's talking to Howard, he could just be an adjunct.
Could be.
Catherine is the one running around with like armed military people around her all the time. Something I thought to comment about, but didn't. She shows up to a high school with just guns toting around, pointing guns at high school kids, and no one bats an eye about it. It's like, what is this world is dark. But I mean, she's the one doing everything military wise. Leon has confidential files and does propaganda. He might as well be the SS of the show. Right? KGB, whatever you want to pull. He is not doing anything military related. He doesn't talk to anybody about military service. He doesn't reference anybody's past service and their relationship to the current military. He doesn't try to recruit people like she does. Yeah, and it's the oddity that I thought, like the Bridge Bunnies, I thought would be, okay, they're going to be with the main military side, and we're going to have all these people who don't wear uniforms, and they're going to be all of our mercenary group. No, Bridge Bunnies have a uniform for some reason. But yeah, no, the element of I don't know why we've separated ourselves from the military when it's been a military-heavy show the whole time.
I mean, I know stuff from video games how to kind of explain it, but since we don't show it on screen, I'm not gonna bring it up.
Well, yeah, the element of also we're not UN Spacey anymore. We're the new UN Spacey. Nuns, as they say. Well, I don't know if they say that. They might say NUNS. But who wouldn't say nuns at this point? We are the nuns. And we've come to kick your ass.
None are gonna get escape from us.
We're the flying nuns.
Yeah. The space nuns.
Yeah, but I mean, we've changed the name, implying something's happened. Why would you be the new UN Spacey unless something happened to the old UN Spacey? Still hate that we're keeping the word Spacey, by the way. Spacey just sounds like a descriptive term that a child would say.
Space Navy, yeah.
Yeah, why don't you describe what's going up there at the nighttime? Asks a 5-year-old kid. It looks spacey.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we should go ahead and find out why we're going to say goodbye to Cheryl. So, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.